Before we start looking at our work for today, let me talk about back to school night for tomorrow night. Uh, for tomorrow, bring somebody with you. Either actually make sure that somebody's an adult, either your older sibling, your parents, your neighbor. I don't know. Bring an adult with you, because tomorrow we're gonna have back to school. What they're basically gonna do, your parents or whoever you bring, they're gonna go through their schedule as you go, and they're gonna be in each class for about 10 minutes. So don't worry, I'm not gonna talk about you guys or how you guys are. And like I said, it's gonna be from 6 to 8. They're gonna have free stuff. They're gonna be giving you guys free popcorn if you guys come over. They're gonna give you guys snow cones, and they're gonna give some prices. From what I've heard, some of them could be electronics. If you guys show up, in order for you to participate for that raffle or those prizes that they're gonna be giving away, you guys have to go to your schedule and get a signature from all your teachers. So make sure you guys do come tomorrow and participate in the back to school night. To help you guys a little, I'm gonna offer you guys. I told you guys before I don't offer extra credit, but this time I will. I'll offer you guys 50 points of extra credit, and if you guys know your points, 50 points is basically a quiz. So I'm giving you guys a free quiz if you guys come tomorrow. So make sure bring somebody. I'll be here tomorrow, so during class I'll explain it a little bit more. Have the flyer on our board so you guys can see that. All right, now moving along, I gave you guys, well, we printed the notes for you guys. So let me go over the notes real quick. The notes, obviously, the paper that you were given, don't just put them in your notebook. Actually, do copy them to your notes, and I'll explain a little more. The reason why I printed them, because I didn't want to be waiting for a long time for you guys to copy, especially since I was not going to be here. So that's why I did that. But today, obviously, as the title says it, we're going to be dealing with angles. So just basically that. Before we move on, let me introduce you guys to the protractor. The protractor, the important things on the protractor is a little point. Um, Let me wait for this real quick. The little point at the center of the bottom, which is that point. You guys see it? That point is very important. And also, another thing that is important are my numbers. If you notice, I have my numbers from 0 to 180 right here in the inside, but I start my 0 at the right. And on the outside, I have the numbers from 0 to 180, but this time they start at the left. I'm going to show you guys in a minute why they're like that, but we're going to be using either the inside numbers or the outside numbers. Let me change this real quick. All right, an angle is formed by two rays that share a common endpoint, provided that the two rays are non-collinear. So first of all, the rays cannot be collinear. You know, remember we talked about collinear being the same line, and they're going to share a point. The point that we can see that they shared is the point A, and I can see one ray going this way, and I can see the other ray going that way. So, matter of fact, my rays are AB and AC. So that's the point A, we're gonna call that the vertex. Let's take a look at the next slide. The common endpoint of the two rays is what we call the vertex, and the two rays are the sides of the angle. I'm going to ask you guys in the homework, name the vertex. So if I ask you guys on my picture above, the vertex is going to be point A. Remember I mentioned that if we only write a letter, I'm talking about a point. So the vertex is point A. The two sides are going to be the ray AB and the ray AC. All right, looking at my picture. So the common endpoint of the two rays is what we call the vertex, which in this case I'm calling point A, and the two rays are the sides. In this case are the rays AB and AC. Now, let's talk about how to name an angle. The angles, there's many ways of how to name them. The lazy way is by naming it by the vertex. So if I call it angle A, that's the lazy way. The other way, how to name it, is by using three letters. Uh, One of the letters will be the vertex, and the other two letters are going to be one on each ray. What I mean with that is this one, this angle, I can call it angle BAC or angle CAB. Right? I'm using the three letters there. The only thing that it's very important is that the vertex, it's in the center. You guys notice my A is in the middle. The B and C, it doesn't matter which one comes first. So that's why I wrote BAC or CAB. That's how we name the angles. Sometimes the angle will have a number inside without the degree symbol. Let's say this one, for example, had the number 1. Oops, not there. Let's say had it there, the number 1. But if you notice, the 1 doesn't have the degree symbol, which looks like a little O as an exponent O. So if it doesn't have that, that is also angle 1. That is also a name. Sometimes we use that as a name. The lazy way, though, just by the vertex, sometimes it's possible to do it. Sometimes it's not possible to write it the lazy way. And then what I mean with that is, like, take a look at my other angle at the side. If I was to say angle A, you guys don't know if I'm talking about this angle A or I'm talking about this angle A, right? If I just say angle A, you don't know which angle I'm talking about. So whenever we cannot do the lazy way because there are two angles that have the same vertex, we have to name it using three letters. So if I want to name the top angle, one of the ways I can name that one is by angle BAC. Obviously, CAB was another one. And then the way I can name the bottom angle, I'm going to name it angle CAD. Once again, as a reminder, the vertex is in the center of the three letters, and the other two letters are one from each ray. As a matter of fact, there's a bigger angle as well. The big angle, if you guys look at the angle BAD, I'm talking about the entire angle. I'm talking about this whole angle. So there's also a third angle in there. So once again, if I said angle A, if I go the lazy way, you guys don't know which angle I'm talking about. So once there are angles that share the same vertex, we cannot use the lazy way. All right. If you, any questions, I'll answer those tomorrow as well. The measure of an angle. Well, let me erase this real quick. Okay, the measure of an angle is the smallest amount of rotation about the vertex from one ray to another. So the measure of the angle is going to be the numbered right here in the inside. I'm going to show you guys how to use the protractor to be able to find the measurement, to find the numbered. But what we're talking about the angle, it is that numbered inside. We're not going to measure the distance all the way outside. We're not going to do that. We're just going to measure the inside. That's what I mean with the measurement of the angle. Now, to measure an angle, subtract the degrees where the rays cross the protractor. What I mean with that is that the rays, using the protractor, this ray and this other ray, they're going to cross through some numbers. That's why we had the numbers on the protractor. Just look at the numbers and subtract it. The way we place the protractor, sometimes we try to make one of the numbers 0 because it's always easy to subtract from 0. If my other number, let's say it crossed, like, I don't know, let's say 85, my angle, it will just be 85 minus 0. Like, so what we try to do is have one of them equal to 0 because it's easy to subtract. But let's say my example number 2, let's say I didn't, so here my measurement is 85, right? Because I subtracted my two numbers. On my other angle, let's say I didn't use the number 0 because I didn't want to do 0. And let's say I come over and I have, like, this is number 70 and this is, like, let's say number 45. So it gives me different degrees. The way I'm going to find the measurement of the angle, subtract those two numbers, 70 minus 45, and then this will give me 25 degrees. Right? It's a little bit harder to go 70 minus 45. It would have been easier if I had gone 25 minus 0. Once again, that's why we always try to make one of the two numbers 0 to be able to make it easy to subtract. Two angles are called congruent. And keep in mind, I'm using my symbol for congruent, and we talked about congruent means same shape, same size. Two angles are to be called congruent if and only if they have equal measures, the same number of degrees. If you guys use your protractors to measure this angle with this angle, you guys will find out that these two angles have the exact same measurement. And as a matter of fact, if you measure this angle with this other angle, you guys will have the exact same measurement. Remember how with the sides, when it was the segments, talking about the midpoint, when I had the midpoint and I had a segment like this, when I said the two segments were the same, I did one slash on each. Look at my angles. For one angle and the other angle that's the same, I use one little arc. For this other angle, I use two little arcs. Basically, we call them like slashes. So keep in mind that there's also how we write on the angles. All right, now let's take a look at our worksheet. Let me see. Let me open the worksheet out. Okay, so now let's take a look at our worksheet. The first part, it says, name the vertex and the sides of each angle. All right, so that was not bad. I came in and said that the vertex was going to be the corner, the point that they both shared. So if I look at question number, I use red for this thing. If I look at question number 1, the vertex is the point D. That's a D. It's the point D, right? Because it's a point, I'm okay just writing a letter. My two sides, because it says name the vertex and sides of each angle, my two sides are going to be the ray DC and the ray DE. Looking at question number 2, the vertex, the corner created is the point H, and my two rays are going to be HG and the ray HI. Now, somebody might say, can I write HI before I write HG? I don't care the two rays in which order they come. Make sure you have the vertex and the two rays that you use for that angle. All right, so you guys should be fine for questions 1 through 6. Let me take a look at question number 7. Name each angle in 4 ways. All right, so one way is the lazy way, angle H, just the vertex. Another way, it's angle IHG and angle GHI. Notice that I'm using 3 letters, but the vertex is in the center, and IG are points on each of the rays. And then because I see a number that doesn't have a degree symbol, what I mean with degree symbol is like a little O or like a little 0 on top. It doesn't have it, so this is angle 5. Notice though, when I was naming them, I drew a little angle, a little corner, for me to identify that it is an angle. If I didn't write an angle, if I just wrote H, I'm talking about point H. So that's why I need to say angle H. Looking at question number 8, the lazy way, it's angle C, right? The vertex, just using the vertex. The other 2 ways that we can look at using the 3 points, I'm gonna go angle BCD and angle DCB. Once again, the vertex is in the center. This angle, I see number 1, so this angle is also called angle 1. So those are 4 ways on how to name these angles. Now, let's get to measure some angles. So looking at number 13 and 14, it says, find the measure of each angle to the nearest degree. All right, for that, let me use this. Let me shorten it a little. All right. So I'm going to use, this is something that I have on a paint. So if it doesn't look that clear, my apologies on that. What we need to do, have the the point, the circle that I told you guys, put it inside put it right on the vertex, and then the two rays that you see, they should come over and give you two numbers, and that will be the measurement of the angle. You guys see that I came and I highlighted my protractor. Remember the point that I told you guys that it's at the center. Let me change this real quick. Because it's easier when you guys are in person. The point, that point, put it on the vertex. What I'm trying to do here is, you see this line at the bottom, I'm going to put it at the 0. So this is 0. But keep in mind, my 0, it's from the outside numbers. So the way I'm going to read this other ray over here, I'm going to put it right on, I'm going to be looking at the numbers from the outside. This doesn't let me show it. Doesn't let me see it that well. But what I'm trying to say is, move your protractor. Remember this little point right here, the little hole, like I said, put it on the vertex. Because the angle's open to the left, I'm using the outside numbers. Because my angle here is 0 with the outside numbers. But what if the angle, looking at this one, it's open to the right? Once I place it over here with my 0, I'm going to be using the inside numbers. So once again, if the angle is open to the left, we see it there, use the outside numbers. If the angle is open to the right, use the inside numbers. Once again, get two numbers on the two rays. Make sure it shows you two numbers on the protractor, and subtract the two numbers. And we try to make one of the numbers 0. That way, it's easy to subtract. It doesn't quite show me, but I can show you guys tomorrow once I come back. Alright, so if your if your segments are not big enough, and it doesn't reach the numbers in your protractor, you can always make them bigger, right? The bottom of the protractor is a ruler, right? Straight edge. You can make your segments a little bit bigger. That way it reaches the numbers in your protractor. In this case, questions number 13 through 20, you will need to make them a little bit bigger. More likely, they're not going to reach the numbers in your protractor. Now, let me move into question number 21. I'm going to look at one question at a time. Find the measure of, oh no, 21 I said. Draw an angle with the given measurement, 30 degrees. And I only have one side. What I mean with that, let me use this real quick. What I mean with that, I gave you one side, and you guys have a protractor. So grab your protractor. Remember the hole that I mentioned here, put that on the vertex. Right? You guys have a vertex marked, and then obviously see how my 0 is my numbers from the inside. So my 30, mark 30 on the inside, move your protractor, and then there you go. You will have your angle. Once again, if you guys need help, I'll help you guys out tomorrow.